First of all, Excellencies, distinguished leaders, friends, I stand before you today humbled by this gathering and most of all grateful to our host for the warm hospitality and the opportunity to share Palau's story, a story that is shaped by our ocean, our culture, and our responsibility to future generations. Palau is more than a dot on the map. We like to say we're a big ocean state, an archipelago scattered across nearly 600,000 square kilometers of Pacific Ocean. Our land area is just 450 square kilometers, and we are home, unfortunately, not to 800,000, only 18,000 people. Yet our waters in our oceans lie 500 species of coral, 1,300 species of fish, and we have a World UNESCO Heritage Site in our southern lagoon, and some of the oldest terrace structures that you would find in the world, and in the Pacific, the oldest, dating back 3,500 years. From our mountainous island of Babeldaw, which is full of rainforest and rivers, to the pristine reefs and remote atolls of Kyangle and Helen, Palau is a place where nature and history are deeply connected. We are stewards of a living legacy shaped by traditions, rooted in respect, reciprocity, and community, values that have guided us for centuries in living in harmony with the land and ocean. So for Palau, tourism is not just a transaction, it is an invitation. It is an invitation to experience authenticity, to understand our values, such as kadi kaugareu, caring for one another in Palauan, for what sustains us, and also our tradition of bul, for managing our resources to ensure through balance and restraint we sustainably use them. These principles have guided us for generations, and that is how we welcome our visitors, not as strangers, but as guests, and often as family, because every journey in Palau is meant to be meaningful, responsible, and transformative. But our paradise is not immune to the challenges facing the world. Climate change threatens our shores and food systems. Biodiversity loss and cultural erosion are real and present dangers. Standing still is not an option for us. Our responsibility goes beyond our borders. It calls us to lead, to innovate, and to share solutions. We ask ourselves hard questions. How do we remain competitive without compromising our values? How do we create opportunity for our youth while protecting our culture? And how do we ensure development serves people, nature, and identity together? Well, one answer is the Palau Pledge. Palau was the first nation to ask every visitor upon arrival to sign a stamp in their passport, known as the Palau Pledge, as a promise upon entry, a pledge to respect our environment, honor our culture, and act responsibly. It is a written promise to our children. The Palau Pledge reminds us that stewardship is shared. It is not enough to admire beauty. We must protect it for those who will come after us. So our tourism model is clear. High value, low volume. We prioritize authenticity, sustainability, and respect for our way of life. We do not measure success by numbers alone, but by the depth of our connection created and the legacy left behind. By focusing on safety, intact ecosystems, and genuine cultural experiences, we welcome fewer visitors while offering each guest a richer journey. And at the same time, we reduce pressure on our reefs and communities. We have clear rules to turn our visitors into partners in conservation. And by investing in guides, artisans, performers, and conservation rangers, we show our young people that their future is not only something to be proud of, but something with a future. We invite the world not to take from Palau, but to give back, to learn, and to leave Palau better than they found it. Our ancestors taught us that true prosperity comes from balance. Kataw and the bull are not just traditions. They are living principles woven into our policies today. Through protected area networks and our marine sanctuary, and joining the world to be the first ratifier of the BBNJ Treaty, we safeguard our ocean while supporting local livelihoods. We seek the harmony between progress and preservation, between economy and ecology. Palau's vision rests on three pillars. First, cultural continuity, economic self-reliance, and climate resilience. We invest in education, empower communities, and harness creativity so we can remain competitive without losing who we are. Our commitment to ocean protection reflects our belief that safeguards marine resources and must go hand in hand with sustaining our people. Tourism is our gateway to the world. It brings income, but it also builds relationships and amplifies our voice. When a diver returns home and speaks about signing the Palau Pledge, or when a student shares what they learned at our Coral Reef Research Center, Palau is heard far beyond our shores. And that is why we're constantly asking ourselves, who are we developing Palau for? Tourism must strengthen education, drive investment in digital connectivity and renewable energy, and build climate resilience our future depends on. We build for the long term, mindful that true development must uplift, protect, and inspire our people. Palau may be small, but our voice is strong. We advocate for climate action, responsible tourism, and cultural preservation at every table. In an era of climate disruption and geopolitical uncertainty, small nations can often be overlooked. We stand here not as victims of climate change, but as partners offering solutions, especially on how to live responsibly with the ocean. Our message from Palau is simple. Let tourism tell the truth about who we are. Let it protect the places and cultures that make your nation unique. And let it serve your children and grandchildren, not just as today's balance sheet. We invite you to paddle with us. Come invest in Palau. Together, let us build a global tourism model where every journey strengthens rather than erodes the world we share. We have men's traditional meeting houses in Palau, and they're called abais. And on all of those houses, we have painted symbols, usually a fish or a rooster, but they all tell stories or teach us lessons. One of those symbols is the stingray, and in Palau we say rul. The stingray is painted to remind us of the principle of steadfastness. We should not be easily swayed, and we should stick to our principles. In developing tourism industries, we must be steadfast like the stingray, never compromising our values and principles in pursuit of our goals. We must be creative, innovative, like the fronds on a palm that we use to weave. We must weave arts, culture, and stewardship into the development for our people. Sulang, thank you for the partnership, your leadership, and your commitment to a future where nature and culture can flourish side by side. Sulang.